Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Week went by very quickly, and we have a new theme today, which is New Friend Day. And I've said many times this year and in the past that relationships are part of everyday life. Everything is a relationship. I view everything as a relationship, whether it's a relationship you have with your family, your friends. The most important one, however, is the relationship that you have with yourself. But making a new friend is really an art. And it's something that I feel like has been lost these days with social media because the concept of what a friend is. I know students in the past have said that they've had hundreds of friends. And when I asked them about them, they knew nothing except for their avatar. And their avatar basically means what they're showing online, which a lot of times isn't exactly the truth. I know people post things online all the time that are kind of highlights of their life, the best things that are happening to them, or sometimes the worst things that are happening to them for attention. But it doesn't show a real person as you get to see them when you spend time with them. So hopefully the people that you consider friends, you physically spend time with and you're able to have real discussions in the real world. And with social distancing, I don't even like to use the word social distancing. I like to use physical distancing because we need more social interaction, not distancing. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to make friends because friends you earn. Now, family members and people that you've had in your life through your family, they are people that are going to be around and you can fight with them every day and disagree and they're still going to be in your life. And that's the way it works at the home dimension. But when you're out in the world, people have choices about who they want to spend time with. And I'll tell you right now, all people want to be treated well and all people want to feel good about themselves. They may not know that, but it's true. Deep down inside, everyone needs a light in their life and somebody to make them feel good about themselves, especially if they're not. So earning friends is something that you have to do, especially when you get to school. When you go out on the playground, people do not have to play with you. If you are someone out there and you're taking out your pain and suffering or whatever you're feeling on other people, they don't have to play with you. So just keep that in mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this message and we're going to listen to it. I'll stop and commentate on it. Then we're going to go over some rules for friends and we'll discuss the way we always do.
Good morning, all Stevens. This is Brandon Lau, Student Council President. Today is day 3 of the 12 Days of Kindness, New Friend Day. Try to talk with someone new during a breakout session if your teacher plans a friendship activity today. Try to remember a fun fact about someone else in your class, maybe their favorite animal or favorite color or something they like to do for fun. Think about what it means to be a good friend and how valuable our friends are to us. Think about all the new friends you'll make when we finally return to in-person learning on campus. You'll have to be a good friend to make good friends. Smile, say hello.
Super important. Now, I did have Brandon in my class when he was in 4th grade, and he was a class governor. When we get back to the classroom, we are going to have governors for the classroom, and you will make speeches if you want to be a governor. And Brandon really took that role seriously of being a leader. And I'm so glad that he's our student council president now. But what he's saying is really important about in order to have good friends, you need to be a good friend because good friends are going to have these qualities that we're going to talk about in a minute. And if you're not practicing those same qualities, it's not going to fit. So let's listen to the rest of his message and then I'll go over our checklist here and we could discuss it further.
Introduce yourself to someone you don't know, be curious and ask appropriate questions to get to know someone better. Be an active listener and share with others. On that note, Student Council is organizing a fundraiser to help those in need. Our donations will help us make new friends in our neighboring communities. Your kindness will help others to stay strong and feel connected. Look for more information soon. Have a good day.
All right. So that was Brandon's message. Now, and that one thing that he said that's really important is about when you're communicating with people and interacting with them, ask questions. You want to make it a conversation, not just a speech you're making to someone about yourself. what happens a lot of times when people talk, they talk a lot about themselves. And sometimes it's in a bragging manner. And sometimes it's to make the other person feel a little bit lower, like, oh, I just got this, or I'm so important in this way. And it's okay to speak well of yourself. You definitely want to be respecting of yourself, but you don't want to make it in a way where the other person feels like they're beneath you. That's not a way to have a relationship. Relationship should go this way. You rise, they rise. You rise, they rise. That's the way relationships should work. That's a healthy relationship. Negative relationships are the opposite. It's like I make you feel beneath, and then you make me feel beneath. And then the pattern continues until we both sink to the bottom. And those aren't the kind of relationships that we need at all in the world. So let's take a look at some suggestions here about friendship that I found. If I can get this up here, there's always something on the screen. Let's see. So we go here. Okay. So it says here how to be a good friend. Now, the first one we already talked about, being a good listener. And it's really important that when you speak to people, they feel like you care about them. If you're speaking to me and I'm playing on my phone, which a lot of people do, it happens all the time, or staring off into space, or you can tell they're thinking about something else. That happens all the time. They're already thinking about what they're going to say to you. They're not really listening. And honestly, I'm guilty of this too. I really have had to focus on being a good listener because it's so easy to be distracted these days. And I always try to keep eye contact and let the person know. A good thing to do is nod your head like you're listening, is every once in a while kind of give an yeah, okay, because then they know you're listening. Here's another one. Be honest, right? There's this classic story of the boy who cried wolf. And if you haven't heard the story before, it's about a boy who gets caught lying a couple times and then nobody believes him and things don't turn out good from there. Well, guess what? That's exactly what happens in life. If people feel you are dishonest, and usually people are dishonest to make themselves higher than someone else, what happens is they tend to not believe you. And once they don't believe you, you could even be telling the truth and they still won't believe you because trust is earned too. Friends and trust are earned. Now, here's a big one: loyalty. Loyalty means that you stick with people through the good times and the bad times. Now, this can be a little bit deceiving because if somebody's not nice to you and they've been your friend and they're all of a sudden turn nasty, like in the giving tree, and they start treating you badly, that's the time to walk away. Now, of course, give them the opportunity and give them the I messages. I don't like when you say that, it makes me feel this way. But if they're going to take out their inner struggle on you, which is what people do when they're mean, honestly, that's a time to walk away. But on the other hand, you don't want to just be with people when they're in a good mood and there's balloons and stickers. The real good friends will show up when you need them. For example, I always tell who my good friends are if they help me move or do something that I need help with and they're there for me. That's a friend. Okay. And I'll do the same thing for them. I've helped many people move in the past because it's not a fun thing to do, but it shows loyalty that you care about somebody and you're there when they need you. Be supportive, offer advice. Now, you don't want to be controlling someone's life and telling them what to do and all that. But if a friend is in a bad mood or they're not feeling well, or you could always be there to listen. Remember, rule number one is to listen and then to give some advice, but always in a supportive way. I have friends come to me quite often talking to me because I feel like I'm a good listener. I have good advice. And I always try to listen first and then say, well, I heard you say this. How about this? Going with what they think and the advice that I would give instead of, you should do this because I know more than you. What are we doing there? This way, right? Oh, I heard you say this. How about this? Oh, yeah, maybe that. If you have a disagreement, stand up for yourself, but be respectful. Remember, all relationships are important. Even people who are not your friends, they're still relationships. They are still going to be in your life, whether they're at school or in the community or anything like that. And it's totally okay to stand up for yourself. 100% please do. But remember, you want to keep the relationship healthy. And what I usually do with relationships is I tell them the problem and then I give my advice to how to solve it. So I see that this is going on between us. I don't say you. Oh, it's really easy to point fingers. It's your fault. It's you. You always, you never. Those languages are battle language. What we want is healing language. And healing language is, we are doing this. Maybe we should start doing this. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Maybe we, not so much me and you, but we, when it comes to relationships. And what does it say down here at the bottom? Introduce your friends to other people. What happens sometimes is we tend to hoard. That means hold on to really tight and protect our friends. My best friend, and they're only my friend. Well, what happens, and it's okay to have good friends. It's okay to even say you have a best friend, but you don't want to isolate yourself. That means separate yourself from the rest of the world with one person. Because what happens if that person gets unhealthy? I've already told you the story in my life about the friend that I had, the best friend that got really unhealthy. He took a different path than me. And fortunately, I was able to branch out and get a new group of people that were more supportive of my journey. And he ended up down a road that you do not want to go down, but it's his choice. We all have the choice in life where we go. We really do. Now, who we follow and who we take with us, that's a choice too. You are not attached to anyone, especially when you turn 18. When you're 18, you are free and clear to pick your own path and follow that path. And maybe it will be with the group that you're with now, maybe it won't be, but you will always have a choice. And right now is a really good time to practice. So my advice is to first be your own friend. That means really find goodness in yourself and feel like you are worthy. And then take that and share it out into the world and try to make people feel a little bit better about themselves because you feel good about yourself. Share that positive energy. And like we talked about yesterday with energy, is that just little things like smiling at somebody might raise somebody's mood. Saying something kind about them may raise somebody's mood. And what happens is that you're going to rise together. And that's what good friends do.